Well, welcome. And as far as your paddle, usually what I tend to do is just stick it underneath the bungee system, like tuck it underneath there. They tend to float anyway, so it's really a non-issue. It just might float away from you.
Right.
But otherwise, you know, just kind of having it here. So, like I said, we're very intimately small, but I'm so grateful that you guys are here. And it's funny, I know Jessica. She signed up. We didn't know each other. Like, oh, are you coming too? So I know Jessica from our kids' school. So it's nice that it's such a small world, right? Like you just never even realized. So before we get started, thank you for contributing to Safe Kids Kalamazoo. Next year is going to be all sports-related nonprofits. So I didn't even realize there's a lot of a number of nonprofits in our area that actually support children in like biking and having bikes available to kids and sports activities available to kids who don't necessarily have the opportunity to do that, as well as, believe it or not, a local stand-up paddleboard nonprofit that supports veterans. So I think these group of men enjoy water, waves. I think they're Navy. So imagine that, right? It makes sense, so I'll wait. But so next year, that's what that's going to be focused on. And number one, how did you hear about this?
I think I just did an Instagram search or
Oh, okay.
search. So I'm from Grand Rapids, and I've seen them. Like I think last year, or a couple of years ago, someone was doing the stand-up paddleboard yoga classes.
Okay.
And they always filled up, and so I was like, I wonder if somebody's doing that this year. And
okay.
So I thought, oh, this looks like fun.
Okay, good. So I was just curious. How about you, Jessica?
Yeah, mine was Facebook. It was Kristen Bethel actually that had Facebook photos of her doing
right,
it.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I didn't even know that existed. Like, I really do that.
Right.
I had thrown it out there as a birthday gift idea, and so my dad and stepmom did some research on it and found it and signed me up.
Perfect.
Did the initial contact with you, I think.
Oh, okay. I thought probably when I was in Sandusky.
What's that?
I said probably when I was in Sandusky because I did get that phone call. So as we start to get close to starting, as you can see, the water's pretty. The wind is pretty heavy. So as the board shifts, feel free to make adjustments, right? So no reason to kind of all of a sudden you're turning that way and you feel like you just need to listen rather than look, and now you're crunching this way. So make those adjustments. And typically when we have a larger class, it is like a vinyasa sequence, and we go through an actual vinyasa flow class. But if you arrived here today with certain expectations, I'd like to know about them. So, you know, whether you want to open up the hips, whether you want to open up the chest or the back, or you want to just say, hey, I just really want to know what it's like to stand up in Warrior 1 and 2, and some of those traditional postures. I want to stand on my head, or I want to arm balance, you know, we can do all that. And, or if you're like, Meryl, I just want you to guide me, do your thing. I can do that as well. So anything, Jessica?
Nothing really in particular. I mean, back, I feel like I always need good stretching throughout.
Okay, so more flexion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I like vinyasa. I like doing the flows.
Okay.
So.
And
yeah, kind of the same. I have not done the yoga on the paddleboard, so probably just the balance of that is just going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Me too. I've never done it on paddleboard either.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll do some flow and towards and we'll incorporate some spinal flexion as well as towards the end when we're stretching, and I'll guide you through not standing up. And then when you feel like you're ready to stand up, if you want to stand up, you're welcome to stand up. If you want to stay close to the board at all times, you're welcome to do that as well. So I did tell Stacy back there, Jessica, so anytime you're going to start to stand up or feel where you need to be on your board. You have a handle?
I do. Yep, I'm sitting right on
Okay,
it right now.
perfect. So this is your center of gravity. You're going to stand up, or you're going to stand up on your knees, or get into a squat. This is this is your center, and that's where you want to make sure. Oh, I didn't even. That's good that it didn't fall into the water. That would be a disaster. Okay. So this is where you want to be flanking the handle, navel over the handle if you're like in cat-cow, or downward facing dog, navel over the handle, right? So why don't we start out by just simply grounding. Go ahead and find a comfortable posture. So that may be just sitting as you are. That may be putting your feet down, straddling the board, right? Or you can just find that traditional seat, Sukhasana, or if you have a half lotus, lotus posture, you're welcome to take that. This is full lotus, typically very, very challenging, especially early in the practice, but always something you're welcome to take, and you can just simply sit as such as well, right? The water is warmer than I thought it would be. And just go ahead and take a moment to settle in, close the eyes, and simply just be here in nature. And as you come to your seat, you go ahead and ground down into those sit bones, the ischial bones that are at the base of the spine, and those divots at the bottom of the glutes. And feel that connection to the board. Notice as you sit up nice and tall, and you feel the shoulders come down and away from the ears. You're welcome to place the palms on tops of the knees or flip the palms up for receiving. Right? Mudra if you practice one. And such a lovely day in September, especially the ones that we've been having lately. Find all that gratitude for the sun, the air, the breeze, and the present moment. We'll start to build the breath together. So as you have the eyes softly closed, you become aware of the breath as it comes in and out through the nose. Exhaling all the air out. Take a nice big inhale in through the nose. Fill it all the way up to the tip top, and you pause. And then open the mouth, release the air out. Another one, big inhale in. Feel the thoracic rib cage expand side to side, front to back. Pause, retention. And then open the mouth, release. One last one together. Big inhale. Pause. And then open and release. Nice. And now softly close the lips. And you continue with this conscious breath. Notice that the breath is key throughout your yoga practice. It is your connection as you move, as you hold, as you balance, and allowing the breath to be your sustainment and your guide. Taking a few more rounds together. And at the bottom of the next exhale, you can softly open the eyes. And so for today, because gratitude is such a theme, right? Being able to be out here, being able to take in the scenery, to be here in the wonderful weather that it is, as well as the nonprofit that's receiving your charity, right? So bringing hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra, right? The symbol of grace, respect for each other, and gratitude. We'll be coming back to this mudra throughout your practice today. can open the eyes if they're softly closed. And your next inhale, circle them all the way up, palms to touch. And then exhale as you bring it back into center. Perhaps you massage the thumbs into the heart chakra. Again, inhale as you go along, all the way up. And then exhale as you bring it all the way back in. And one last one, inhale. Reach, 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 reach. Maybe even you look up at the sky, and then exhale, bring it back in. This time, inhale, circle it all the way up, and then taking a lateral stretch to your right, right? So your right hand comes down, left arm reaches all the way up and over. You're getting into the intercostals and the rib cage, and you open it up. And notice if you're kind of hunching forward, right? Can you stack it, open up the chest, bring that left shoulder down and away from the ear. Maybe once again you look up at the sky, feel the connection of the right hand to the board, and that's your safety net, right? And then inhale as you come all the way back up and you switch sides. The exhale lowers that left arm down, the right arm reaches up and over. Nice, Stacy. And again, moving with the breath, right? So we'll be all in a different cadence. And because it's just the three of us, I'll practice with you today. And then get to walk my dog. I was going to walk my dog as my exercise, and it just got so, life gets away from you, right? So just kind of moving with the breath. Maybe you even close your eyes, right? So noticing what it feels like in your body. And as you move just with the breath, whether Stacy's on the right side and I'm on the left and Jessica's right in the middle, it really doesn't matter as long as you're getting into that lateral stretch. And a couple more on your own. Opening up the side body. And completing the round that you are on, right to left and left to right. And I'll meet you back here, hands at heart center. Perhaps you close the eyes, bow the chin towards the chest, scroll on through the posterior cervical spine. And any time as your seat becomes uncomfortable, you're always welcome to adjust it, right? Come back to an easy seat or fold the knees underneath you. And you sit on your shins, on your heels. And we'll move into the twist now. So your next inhale brings the arms all the way up, and then exhale, twist to your right. So left hand towards the outside of the right knee, plant the right fingertips down, and then inhale as you grow nice and long, and then exhale, you twist. And feel it from just above the navel, right? And so you move with the breath. Once again, your inhales bring you back to that center, and your exhales, you feel that twist. Perhaps each time you twist just a little bit further. Engagement into the internal organs, massaging the liver, right? Detox. Moving with the breath. Maybe a couple more rounds wherever you are. And when you're ready and fulfilled, I'll meet you once again here at Heart Center. Thanks, you guys. So we'll move into Navasana, boat pose, right? So pelvis right over the handle, and you stamp the feet down. So when you start to enter into your boat pose, so avoiding, we're not going to do the spinal flexion here, okay? Right? So a lot of times when people start to enter boat, typically what happens is they start to round through the upper thoracic spine just to lift the legs higher. Plant the feet, lift up with the heart. Keep the spine nice and long. Beautiful, Stacy. As if the chest is coming outward, right? You can lift the gaze, you can lift the hands. Again, if you'd like to, you can start to get light on the feet. That's your choice. Sometimes if once you start raising the feet up, you lose sight of the spine, so you can come back to bringing the hands behind the hamstrings so you can lift up through the heart and you pause, right? If you practice Pilates a lot, which I don't at all, but you can start to extend the arms and the legs if you like. Again, you're welcome to stay right here. You can replant the feet, bring the hands back at heart center, and you take a big breath in, and exhale, you twist. So finding the balance between balancing on your board and twisting at the same time, right? And so you move with the breath, engage into the core, press the belly button into the spine, and of course that spinal column is nice and straight, nice and stable. We'll take a few more rounds, getting nice and deep into the core, nice and early. finishing up the round that you are on. And then we'll meet back here at heart center, boat pose, Navasana, whatever expression you've chosen, whether it's feet planted or you re-raise the feet, your choice. You'll feel it a lot into the hip flexors. And then exhale. If the feet are floating in space, go ahead and plant them down. We'll take a reverse tabletop. So the pelvis right over the handle, ground the hands down, right underneath the shoulders, plant the feet, and then lift up the hips. If you like, you can separate the feet a little bit wider. The more surface area you take up on your board side to side and front to back, the more stable you'll feel, especially with this floating platform, right? You can already feel it start to go. And then exhale, go ahead and bring it back down. Nice. And go ahead and pop the knees up towards the sky, give your shins a nice hug, and here's your spinal flexion. A lot of times, if you like, as an option, you can come back to a seat, easy seat, Sukhasana, and if you want to really feel that spinal flexion in the low back, you can just fold over your legs in this manner. So choosing what feels good for you, right? It's not going to be the same for each of us. Just those couple of options, what makes it accessible to you. Nice, you guys. And so from here, go ahead and come back up, sitting up, and then find your tabletop, right? So tabletop, coming into all fours, again, navel right over the handle, right? And you plant the hands, and the wrists are right underneath the shoulders, and the knees are right underneath the hips. You can curl the toes under, sometimes feeling like you're gripping the board with the toes gives you a little bit more of a stability, and you can move into your cat and cow, right? So your next inhale, you press the heart forward, feel that spinal extension, lift the gaze, and then exhale. There's your spinal flexion, right? And feel free to hold however long you want in spinal flexion or extension, right? What feels good for you. And whether you'd like to add in any organic movement, right? Spinal flexion, extension, and then side body flexion, right? And bring the same shoulder towards the hip, where you circle, or you stay with the traditional cat and cow. And a couple more rounds. And I'll meet you back at that neutral tabletop. From here, puppy pose. So you can plant the forearms down and keeping the elbows right underneath the shoulders. This is a variation you can always come back to besides downward facing dog, right? So if you feel like you're losing your stability, your balance, especially if the board starts to shake from side to side, you're welcome to come down here on a Hatasana puppy pose, right? Hips right over the knees. And then if you'd like to stay here, please do, or you can find downward facing dog. So if you guys like, sometimes it's easier to grip the mat of the board with your hands a little wet. So if you want to dip your hands into the board, and then you can curl those toes under, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog, right? And so as you come into your, I'm assuming this is your first time downward facing dog, right, you guys? Right. You're welcome to close your eyes, because sometimes looking at the sky upside down can be a little disconcerting. So as you come into your downward facing dog, notice if you need to shift your body so that your navel's over that handle. And typically you can separate your feet a little bit wider than you usually can, so you'll start to feel the difference. And go ahead and do that, right? So if you bring your feet closer into the midline, how it feels, or if you come a little bit further apart, right? So sometimes taking up as much space on the board as you like will start to feel a little bit more stable, right? And press those heels towards the earth. They may not touch the board, and that's okay. Earth, water, board, same difference, right? And we'll move into some vinyasa variations for today. And so your next inhale, go ahead and shift it into a high plank, okay? So that those shoulders are right over the wrist. Stay lifted through the pelvis. So there's this tendency to kind of dip into the low back, right? You guys look great, beautiful. And your next exhale, lower down knees, your chest and your chin, right? Ashtangasana, 8 points, and then uncurl the toes and lift up the heart for your cobra, right? Cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Beautiful. And then exhale, recurl those toes under, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now we're doing yoga, right? And so that's one variation, right? We'll take a second variation, Chaturanga Dandasana, for your vinyasas. And understand vinyasa is to place in a special way. And you guys don't have to follow me. You can stay in down dog if you wanted to. And the vinyasa typically is a reset in between certain segments in a vinyasa flow. So we'll move into Chaturanga Dandasana together. Inhale, shift it forward, high plank. Pause. And then exhale, lower halfway. So hug the elbows in so they don't spray out. Nice. And then inhale for that upward facing dog. Come to the tops of the feet, lift up the heart. Beautiful, you guys. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Or puppy pose, or if you even want to go right into a child's pose, you're welcome to do so. You know, if you want to add in an extra push-up, you're welcome to do that as well. Whatever serves you today, right? And taking your practice as you may. And then we'll start to move into our dynamic series together. So from here, go ahead and bring the big toes to touch. Your next inhale, right leg lifts. Three-legged dog. Exhale, hug the knee into the chest. Shift it forward for a tiger curl. So that back heel is right over the ball of the foot, and you're really pressing away from the earth, and you're feeling that protraction into the upper back, and you can place that foot right between the hands, or right foot, right thumb, and you can come down to that back knee. Right? So getting into a runner's lunge. And your next inhale, you raise the arms up as an option. So as a slower pace, you can bring right hand to the right thigh, left hand to the left thigh. And you lift up the heart. Right? Settle into it, open up into the hips. Right? Again, your option to raise the arms up if you'd like. And it'll feel a little different. So sometimes as you start to come into these postures, it'll feel much different with a wider stance, but it'll feel that much more grounding, right? You take a breath in, and then exhale, bring the hands to heart center. And you breathe in here, and exhale, a slight twist to the right. So maybe you're just shifting a gaze, and the angle is just about 10, 15, and just enough to feel it right into the core. And then inhale, you come all the way back up. And then exhale, bring the hands all the way down. Kickstand that left shin out, right? So we're gonna get into a warrior two with the knee down. So we'll move through the flow, staying close to the board first, just so you can know what that feels like. So imagine this back left shin is a big left foot, right? And so typically in your warrior two, right, the right knee is over the ankle. Again, heel toe it out slightly to feel the width and comfort. And then you can raise the arms and look over that right index finger. Nice, Stacy. Engage into the core. Press that belly button in and up. Beautiful, you guys. Nice. Exhale, windmill the hands all the way down. Runner's lunge. Okay. So we'll return back to that warrior two with an option to reverse the warrior, Viparita Virabhadrasana. Right? So again, you can bring right hand to right thigh, left hand to left thigh, and adjusting as you may. Extend those fingertips out. Here's your warrior two. Again, you're welcome to stay right here, or you can flip the front palm and reverse the warrior. Left hand comes to the left hamstring and reach the right arm up. I know, right? You'll feel it in your core. Beautiful. Hold it. I'm going to take your picture because you look so pretty. And then exhale, windmill the hands all the way down, runner's lunge, right? Bring that left shin back to the center, curl the back toes, and find yourself in your high plank. Remember, you can always come down to the knees, harness some of that energy. This is just as strong as being on your toes, and you're welcome to take that vinyasa, right? So your exhale lowers you either all the way down or halfway. Inhale, lift up that heart, spinal extension. And then exhale, as an option, since you guys talked about spinal flexion, you can come into embryo pose to feel that spinal flexion, and then return to a downward facing dog, just as an option, right? If you'd rather just go straight to downward facing dog, you're welcome to do that. And as that review, once again, you're always welcome to come down to puppy pose too, right? And so as you guys know, what you do on the right, you'll be doing on the left, right? And I will demonstrate staying closer to the board, especially if you don't want to take the flow from downward facing dog. You'd rather take it from puppy pose just as an option, right? So bringing the big toes to touch, inhale, left leg lifts nice and high. Right? Spread the toes if you wish to activate into the feet, and then exhale, bring the knee towards the nose. And then plant the foot between the hands or left foot towards that left thumb, right? Again, before rising, go ahead and find that stability, a little wider stance, right? And then you're welcome to raise up the chest, left hand, left thigh, right hand, right thigh, left thigh. Yeah. Settle in first, open up into that hip extensor right there, right? Feel the opening, the hip flexor, and hip extensors are activating, and then you can raise the arms up as an option. Okay. Nice. Exhale, hands at heart. Take a breath in. Exhale, slight twist to the left. Nice. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands all the way down. Right, and preparing to move into warrior two. Right? So again, left hand, left thigh, right hand, left thigh. Kickstand that right shin out, and then open. And you're slightly turning the right side of your board and extending those fingertips. Gazes over that left hand, right? And you're welcome to bring the hands back down to the board to restabilize, or you can go right into that reverse. So you can just flip the front palm and then up and back. Your next exhale brings you all the way down, spiral it down. Plant the hands, frame that front foot, step it back, high plank or supported plank. I'll get out of your way, Stacy. And you're welcome to wash it out. Okay? Take a vinyasa, or just simply come back to your down dog, or your puppy pose, or even your child's pose. You're feeling like you need some of that flexion once again. Get into embryo. Beautiful. So we'll repeat our first flow, add in our second. And I will demonstrate standing up on the boards should you choose to take that option. You're welcome to always stay really close. You never have to stand up. But if you're moving with me, go ahead and bring those big toes to touch. In your next inhale, right leg lifts nice and high. Exhale, hug the knee into the nose, hug it into the chest. Plant the foot between your hands. Right? So if you're preparing to stand up for high crescent lunge or warrior one, and stay high on the ball of that back foot. If you'd like to come into warrior one, plant the sole of the back foot down. And just like being low to the board, right hand, right thigh, left hand, left thigh. Left hand, right thigh. I'm learning my right and my left, right? Just like our kids, right? Right, left, left. So remember, Stacy, you can always stay low too, right? Sometimes we just need to be down here. And you can raise the arms up. There you go, nice. Right? Beautiful, Jessica. And you breathe in here, and your exhale brings you that hands at heart. Right? Anjali Mudra. Breathe in. Exhale, that slight twist. Inhale, it brings you back to center. Raise the arms all the way up. And then exhale, kickstand that back shin down, and warrior two. There you go. So Jessica, as you come into warrior two, you might want to widen that stance once again, right? It'll feel really weird if that right foot comes a little more towards the right edge and the left toes towards the left edge. So on stand-up paddleboard, the hardest postures are warrior two, side angle, triangle, where the heel is in heel to arch alignment, right? Where you're almost like in one straight line. So it'll feel different, but you'll settle into it and realize it'll be a little bit more safe. So you can stay right here, or you can flip the palm, right? Go up and back, reverse the warrior. And then exhale, come back, warrior two. Nice. So we'll move on. We'll add in our second flow here. Bring the hands to heart center, turn and face the front of your board. Right? So you might want to bring your shin a little bit more midline. And from here, we'll come down to the board, right? And come down to that back knee, or you can stay high on the back ball of the foot. Return to that warrior one or high crescent lunge or low lunge, right? Low lunge right here. And we'll take lightning bolt, right? So it's just stabilizing and coming back to the center of gravity. And you start to breathe in and then exhale. You engage into the core, hover it right over the thigh, and imagining from the crown to the back heel, you're this diagonal nice angle, right? And you breathe right here. And then exhale, push the air out, and inhale, come back up. So the little Brahmana dips, we'll feel it right in the quads. I feel it, right? Breathe in, and then exhale, humble, engage. Feel it right there in the rectus, and then inhale, raise all the way back up. One more, exhale, hover, and then inhale, press into that right foot, skin up nice and tall, take a breath in, and then exhale, plant the hands, frame that front foot. So Jessica's standing up, but the two of us are down. Bring that right foot to the right edge of your handle, plant the hands, and come into standing L. Right? So it should feel good. You're starting to really straighten through that right leg. If you'd like to stay close to the board, you can plant that right knee. And this, I call this baby L. Yeah, lowercase L, standing L, capital L, lowercase L. Those two options, right? And you can just really reach those left toes to the back of your board. As an option, you can come upside down, standing splits. Yeah, nice, Jessica. Get that heart closer towards that standing shin. If your knee is down, I guess I'm the only one doing that, you can come down to the forearms and really reach those left toes up. Yeah, that's an option. You guys look great. Nice. Hold, steady, and breathe. Connect with the breath. One more round. And then exhale, plant that left foot to the left edge of your handle, right? And you're now in Uttanasana, forward fold. If you'd like, you can separate the feet a little bit wider and take ragdoll, grab opposite elbows, nice bend in the knees. If you'd like, you can sway side to side a little bit.
It feels dangerous sometimes.
Well, I almost fell off. You guys didn't see it because you were upside down, but I almost rocked off to the right. It would be a nice refreshing way, I suppose. But go ahead and release the elbows. Come to a half lift. Bring the palms to the shins. Straighten out through the legs. And press the tail to the back, and then exhale, fold it down deep. And then press into the feet, root to rise all the way up. Circle the arms all the way up. You're standing up nice and tall, extended mountain. And then exhale, hands at heart center. Nice, you guys. And then inhale all the way up. Exhale, bow and fold all the way down. Hinge from the hip, contract the psoas, the deep pelvic muscles, iliacus. Inhale, come to a half lift, reset, reach the crown forward, and then exhale, soften into the knees, plant the hands, step it back to your high plank, and wash it out with your flow. Remember, you can leave it out. And no matter what I do, Stacy, my board always just wants to connect with yours. Hold the extension, hold the flexion, whatever feels good. Oftentimes what we think we need ends up not being what we truly do need, right? So you find it's like, oh, I love all this spinal flexion, but man, does it really feel good to extend the spine? So taking what you need from moment to moment. So we'll go ahead and repeat it on the left side. And bringing the big toes to touch, inhale, left leg lifts nice and high. There you go, beautiful. Exhale, knee towards the nose. Shift it forward for that tiger curl, hold it. Bring it closer towards the heart, and then place the foot between the hands. So making that conscious choice where you want to go, whether you're going to bring that back knee down, you're going to come into warrior one or high crescent lunge. Root it down, rise it up, raise it up. Hand to hand on that thigh. There you go, yeah. You'll feel it in your core tomorrow, I promise you.
I can already feel it.
And you breathe in here, and then exhale. Hands at heart center. Anjali Mudra, yeah. Nice, breathe in. Exhale that slight twist to the left. Yep, to your left, there you go. Beautiful. Inhale, come back to center. Raise the arms all the way up. And then exhale, warrior two, open it up. So as you come into that warrior two, remember, Stacy, you might want to plant the hands so that you can gather your knee. You can kickstand that back shin. There you go. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then extend the arms. There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Flip that front palm. Go up and back. Reverse the warrior. Feel it in the left side body. And then exhale, return to that warrior two. Yep, warrior two. There you go. And from here, bring the hands at heart center. Turn and face the front of your board. If you'd like, you can plant the hands, regather that foundation, especially if you have right knee down. Or if you'd like to start coming up to standing posture, your choice, right? Where we left him, right? And so hands at heart center. You stand up nice and tall, and you breathe in and settle on the exhale. So this is an option, or you can stay right here. And if you like to stay standing up, you're so welcome to do so, and you breathe in and exhale that thunderbolt, right? So nice long diagonal, and then inhale, raise the chest, engage into the core, and then exhale, hover, notice it, firing up that Agni. One more time, inhale, and exhale. Beautiful, inhale, come all the way back up. And then hands plant. Again, if you like to take that left foot to the left edge of your handle, you can start to raise that right leg up. Right? Standing L, lowercase l, if you'd like to bring that left knee back down and you reach those right toes to the back. Screw off through the pelvis, right? So a lot of times that lifted leg hip likes to hike up a little. If you can just square it back down, whether you're standing nice and high, a little external rotation of that right hip. It's okay to get the toes just a little bit higher. Nice. One more breath. And then exhale, right foot meets the left, yeah? Forward fold, Uttanasana. Ragdoll if you like. Grab opposite elbows. Bend into those knees. Yeah, separate the feet, right? Yep, perfect. And then releasing the elbows, come to that half lift on the breath in. And then exhale, fold it down deep. Beautiful. And then really press into the feet, circle the arms all the way up towards the sky. Nice. Salute the sun, and then exhale, hands at heart. Nice. Coming back to that gratitude and intention. One more time. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Exhale, bow and fold all the way down. Fluid, gentle. Again, inhale for a half lift. Exhale, soften into the knees, plant the hands, step it back, and take a flow if you like. Otherwise, you're welcome to leave it out. Come down to puppy pose or child's pose. Hold a spinal extension or flexion, whatever feels good for you. Meet back, downward facing dog. And if you need to adjust on your board so that the navel is right over the handle, go ahead and do so. And we'll take one more flow. We'll leave out the first and second, go right into the third, and we'll take some balancing twist. So listen to your body, hold where you wish, move on when you wish, right? So here in downward facing dog, inhale, come high on the balls of the feet, and then exhale, walk your feet to your handle. Right, so coming back to Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift, so just kind of reset the spine. Exhale, fold deep. Right? And then soften into the knees, find your chair pose with hands at heart center, right? You're welcome to find the traditional chair. Now, I'll go ahead and demo from my knees. So if you'd like to stay standing up, you're welcome to do so. If you feel like you'd like to come down to your knees, you're welcome to do so. So this is chair, right? The pelvis is hovering over the heels. If you like, go ahead and bring your hands to heart center, right? Lengthen through that spine, point the tail down, and lengthen, hold the lower core up and in, breathe in, and then exhale a chair twist, right? Left elbow towards the outside of that right knee. Again, you may want to separate your stance a little bit, give yourself some space. Remember, the twist doesn't have to be so far right that the left elbow comes outside the right knee. As long as you're feeling it right inside the abdomen, the elbow can be in between the thighs, right? And your inhale brings you back up, lift up the heart, and then exhale, twist to the opposite side. Nice inhale, come back to center, pause in that chair. Since you guys are standing up, I will too. Right? And so from here, holding the lower body as is, go ahead and release the hands, bring them down to the board. Keep the right foot where it is and extend that left leg back. So once again, getting into this runner's lunge, you can always come back down to that knee, right? If you like to stay nice and close, otherwise stay nice and high. And you're welcome to come to that standing posture once again right here. Ooh. Hands at heart when you're ready, and then you can take that twist. So closed prayer twist. Again, you may want to widen your stance, take up a lot of space. Right? Gaze is down, usually gaze is up on the studio floor. Really spiral that left inner thigh up towards the sky. So if you're staying close to the board, this is your posture, right? Making it very accessible to you. I can hear you. One more round of breath, and then exhale, plant the hands, unwind, and step it back, find your high plank. Welcome once again to take a flow, reset. I'll meet you back in your downward facing dog. Beautiful. And again, making that necessary adjustment on your board. Where is your navel? Are you on the center of gravity? Okay. And we'll take that very same little sequence on the left side. So inhale, come high on the toes. Exhale, bring the feet to flank your handle. And coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. Beautiful. Come to that half lift to reset. Nice. Exhale, fold it down deep. And now you can soften into the knees, sink the seat, come up for your chair pose. And if you're taking that traditional chair, right, the shoulders are externally rotating, right, and you're opening up into the upper back. Weight is in the heels. You should be able to peek down and see your toes, right? And you take a breath in, and then exhale, hands at heart. Once again, Anjali Mudra. Gratitude, gratefulness, breathe in. Exhale, this time chair twist to the left. So that right elbow coming towards the outside of that left knee or in between the knees. Notice if that right knee is jutting forward, can you bring it back? Nice, Stacy, beautiful. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, twist to the right. Press that navel in, one more. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, twist. And twisting to the left. You're welcome to stay here, or you can plant the hands. So I'll demonstrate right from here, a chair twist on the left. Actually, I'm not going to because I'm just not stable today. Go ahead and plant the hands, extend that right leg back, come down to the back knee if you'd like. And then we'll revisit, coming back into that prayer, and then you can twist for your closed prayer twist. Now, if you're staying high and standing up, whoa, widening the stance, gazes down. You're welcome to look up for that challenge. And notice that as the drishti changes, so does your stability. One more round of breath. And then exhale, unwind, plant the hands, frame the front foot, step it back. An option to take your final vinyasa. And I'll meet you back in your downward facing dog. And as you come to your downward facing dog, take a full round of breath, a nice big inhale, and a nice big exhale. And then go ahead and plant the knees. You can come to a tabletop, but I encourage you, if you come to tabletop and bring your knees to flank the handle, we'll move into camel pose, Ustrasana. So you can walk the hands towards the knees. You can curl the toes under if you'd like, right? So if you know camel in its fullest expression, you're welcome to take it. As an option, you can bring hands to heart center. As this option, you breathe in, and then exhale, you push the pelvis forward, lift up through the chest, gaze at the sky. Of course, if you like to take the full variation of camel, you can bring hands to the low back, and you breathe in, and then exhale, right hand, right heel. You can do a unilateral camel, lift up that left hand, or both hands to the heels, and open up through the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades together, open up the front body entirely. If you want to do that unilateral, go ahead and support the low back first, and then raise up the opposite arm. Nice. Hold, breathe. And then with as much gentleness and mindfulness coming out of the posture as you went in, support the low back, climb to the top, and then settle the heels on top, settle the hips on top of the heels. With a heart opener such as camel, a lot of endorphins running, heart rate may be accelerating a little bit. You can just simply bring the fingertips down to the board, close the eyes, parallel the chin. And as that counter posture for your spinal flexion, taking rabbit. So rabbit, you grab onto the heels from outsides of the feet. A lot of times I have to come forward to do that. And then I resettle back in. There you go. Yeah, perfect. And tuck the chin to the chest, right? And press the belly button into the spine, and you start to roll all the way down and plant the crown. So the crown is planted, and the third eye is energetically reaching for the kneecaps, right? But understand you're not pressing all your weight into the head, all the energies into the pull of the heels, and you start to open up into the upper back, and you feel all that flexion. If you pull a little bit more on the heels, you can start to lift the hips, and you'll feel that full spacing in between each vertebral space. Nice. Ooh, F-bomb in the middle of a yoga practice. Right? And when you guys are ready, really starting to pull onto the heels to raise the chest all the way up. Nice. And you can rock off to one hip or the other and plant the feet. So we'll take a seated pigeon. If you like traditional pigeon, you're welcome to do so. So I'll just quickly demonstrate regular pigeon. So giving you a couple of options. If you want to take regular pigeon, prep, right knee towards the right wrist, extension through the left leg, and you can fold and sleep in your pigeon, right? If you like to sitting pigeon, you can plant the feet and that figure 4. This is a little bit less intense, right? Or you can take a supine pigeon. Right? So this is, if you want to go, the body may be fatigued a little. If you want to take this variation, figure 4, reclined pigeon, Supta Kapotasana, and it works in stages, right? So this may be something you don't feel very much. You can bring the right hand to the right knee, press it towards the front of your board to open up into the hips a little bit, or you can get light on the left foot, interlace the fingers behind the left hamstring or the left shin, right? And so finding what works for you. And start to feel it in the right glute, the right piriformis. Your next breath in, go ahead and raise up the chest and rock a little bit off onto that right hip to bring the left leg forward. So getting into a seated, what's called seated Janu Shirshasana, forehead to knee. So the sole of the right foot is onto the inside of that left thigh, right? And you can make space. It doesn't have to be the traditional where the left leg is parallel to the edge. It could be a little bit wider, what feels good for you. And you breathe in, raise the arms all the way up. And then exhale, turn and face that extended leg and fold. flex through the left foot, so the toes towards the nose. Nice. Inhale, come back up. If that left foot is off to the side, go ahead and bring it to center, pop up the right knee, and getting into a seated spinal twist, right? So an option, right foot on the inside or outside, what feels good. You can bend this bottom knee if you want to get a little bit more into the IT band on the right side. So I'm going to be about right here. And then you can take the left arm, wrap it around the right knee, start to sit up nice and tall as you twist and settle on the exhale. Gaze will follow the right shoulder. Maybe you even close the eyes. And then inhale brings you back to center, unwind. Plant both feet if you like to take a windshield wiper with the knees a little bit. And then we'll move into pigeon on the opposite side. Right? So you both took regular pigeon prep. So you can just plant the hands, extend that right leg out behind you, left knee towards the left wrist, and avoiding the rocking resting onto the hip, right? So there's sometimes this tendency to kind of just dump into that left hip, square off through the hips, right? Sometimes you can stand up nice and tall, your choice. Beautiful. And then exhale, you can fold it down. One more round of breath. And your next breath in, slowly plant the hands, lift up the chest, rock off onto that left hip. Mindfully bring that right leg forward. Again, whether it's parallel to the right edge of your board or a little bit out, make some space if you'd like, even if your heel is touching the water, right? What feels good for you. And you breathe in, ground into the sit bones, raise the arms all the way up, and then exhale as you fold it all the way down. And targeting the hamstring, the calf muscle, gastrocnemius on the right side. Even that option to really open up into the plantar fascia and the Achilles by pointing the toes all the way back, right? Dorsiflex. And inhale. Lift up the chest, and then again, bring that right leg into the center, and you can pop up that left knee. So again, whether it's left foot in, left foot out, right knee long, right knee bent, right? Your choice. Where do you like to take your twist today? It doesn't have to look the same. For me today it will, though. And you can wrap that right arm around the left knee, plant the left fingertips down, grow long through the spine, and start to take that twist. And at the bottom of your next exhale, slowly unwind. Come back to center. Baddha Konasana, butterfly. So bring the soles of the feet together. Again, if you need to make an adjustment on your board, so you're sitting right over that handle. A couple of options. So taking a little bit more of a tortoise way. So you can make a diamond with the legs. It'll get more into the outer hips and the low back. Or if you want to get more into the internal thighs and the perineum and the groin area, you can bring the heels closer in. So in this fashion, you have the hands on tops of the feet, you breathe in, and then exhale, allow that fold. Now if you're taking this variation, you're welcome to scoop the ankles underneath, right? And you breathe in, and then the exhale, you can plant the third eye in between the insoles. And so just a true nature of where your body is in the moment. One more round of breath. Your next inhale brings you back up to seated. And with the guidance of the hands, close the knees like a book. Right? And then scooch your bottom so it's right over your handle. You can come to lying on your back. And I encourage you to go a little past the handle. So when you come to lying on your back, you can take candlestick, Viparita Karani as you reach the toes up towards the sky. Maybe even circle through the ankles. Put a nice little bend in the knees, right? So this is supposed to be a little bit more restorative than active. You know, the knees are rimrod straight. There's a lot of activation into the legs, but if you soften the knees, you can start to feel a little bit more as if all the blood is just going right from the toes all the way up towards the much necessary organs in the body, replenishing the mind. If you like, you can flip the palms down, tuck them underneath the hips, take some pressure off that low back. If you have a plow practice, halasana, you can reach the toes all the way up and back towards your crown. Closing off the front body as an option. If you're wondering what that looks like, because I saw you looking. So if you're going to go into plow pose today, you might want to inch a little bit more forward because you don't want to bring a lot of the weight towards the back. But here from candlestick, you can stay, or you can go all the way up and over.
I'm on the ground, yes, but I'm not sure
Yes,
about the board.
and that's okay. My toes don't touch the board. For some people it does, but you'll be massaging that throat chakra, so just make sure that you're still actively breathing. Whenever you want to come out of it, you're welcome to come back to candlestick right here. Ooh, there's a bee. And once you've come back to stage one candlestick, then you can hug the knees into the chest, Apanasana. Give yourself a tight, tight hug. And then when you're ready, you can extend everything out to find your Shavasana, corpse pose. You're welcome to bring the sacrum back onto the handle. So if you're really far forward, Stacy, you look great. You guys look fine. You guys look fine. And so as you start to enter your Shavasana, if you'd like to allow the feet to fall into the water, the fingertips into the water, right? Reach the arms overhead or at the sides, your choice. But finding these last few minutes of your practice to just simply relax, soak up the sun, and feel that heat, that wonderment, and take rest. Starting to bring awareness back to the physical body. And making those small movements of wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingers. And gentle rock of the head from side to side. Of course, if you like to end your practice here in Shavasana, I encourage you to do so. However, if you like to close your practice off with me this beautiful September afternoon, and go ahead and bring all your limbs into the board and inch the hips either to the right of your handle or to the left so that you can turn onto your opposite side. And simply make your way up to a seated posture. Perhaps you return to the same, very same pose that you started your practice in and now can close off and end in. We'll come back to our Mudra, Anjali Mudra, hands at heart center in prayer position. Bring the chin closer into the chest and find that gratitude and honor for you and your practice. And thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it, honor you, and hope to see you next season. And until we meet again, Shanti, Shanti, peace. Namaste. I'll see you on Monday, though.
Yeah. At the volleyball game.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
It is